It was January 1st, 2023, New Year's Day, a night of celebration, a fresh start. While most people were welcoming the new year with joy, the Fatinoye home in Abeokuta was filled with screams, blood, and fire. A couple and their only son were brutally murdered in their own house, and the person responsible, someone they trusted, someone they helped. This story is chilling, not just because of how they died, but because of who killed them and why. Now let's rewind a bit. The Fatinoye family was well respected in their community. Kehinde was a former staff of the Central Bank of Nigeria, now retired, and Bukola was a senior staff member at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, FUNAB. They were a loving and hardworking couple, blessed with 2 boys and simply trying to live a good life. Then, in 2018, Bukola made a decision that would unknowingly seal her family's fate. She hired a man named Lekan Adekambi as her driver. She already knew him from work. He was a low-level staff member earning a meager salary. Wanting to help him, she offered him a better-paying job as her personal driver with a salary of 25,000 naira. At first, everything seemed fine. Lekan began working in the house, but over time, his responsibilities expanded beyond driving. He was now expected to wash clothes, bath and feed the dog, sweep the house, and take on other household duties. He might have assumed that more work meant more pay, but when his salary stayed the same, resentment began to build. Eventually, he worked up the courage to ask for a raise. The couple refused. Then he asked for a loan to be deducted from his salary monthly. Again, they refused, and that was it. That was his breaking point. Instead of accepting it or simply quitting like any rational person will do, he chose to take matters into his own hands, deciding to rob his employers of what he believed was rightfully his. But he wasn't going to do it alone. He needed help. So he brought in 2 of his friends, Ahmed Odetola and Wahid Adeni. Together, they came up with a plan. It was 2 a.m. on January 1st, 2023. Kehinde and Bukola had just returned from their church's crossover service, where they had spent the night praying and thanking God for making it through 2022. The past year had already been painful for them. They had lost their younger son in June. It was a devastating loss, but they were slowly picking up the pieces and holding on to the hope for the new year. But what they didn't know was that the moment they stepped inside their house, their fate was sealed. Their lives were already over before the new year even began. Waiting in the shadows was Lekan Adekambi and his 2 accomplices, and they weren't there to wish them a happy new year. The 3 men attacked immediately. The couple was beaten, tied up, and forced to transfer over 1 million naira, 1,102,000 to be exact, to Lekan's bank account. At first, the plan seemed to be working just fine, but then the criminals realized their biggest mistake. The transfer had been made to Lekan's personal bank account, his real name, his real details. It was a moment of clarity, like a light bulb switching on. They realized the couple now knew exactly who they were, and if they let them leave, they would go straight to the police, and that could only mean one thing: they had to die. Kehinde's throat was Bukola was bludgeoned in the head with a sledgehammer. Then, to destroy any evidence, they set the house on fire. If the story ended there, it would already be tragic enough, but it gets worse. While all this was happening, the couple's only surviving son, Oriolua, and their adopted son and house help, Felix, walked in. They saw the scene, the blood, the fire. Their parents were dead. They had just become witnesses to a brutal murder, and in the killer's minds, they had to die too. The boys were tied up, driven to a bridge, and thrown into the Ogun River. Imagine that, your hands and legs tied. It's dark, you are sinking, gasping for air. You try to scream, but no one can hear you. You kick, you fight, but the water is dragging you down. The realization hits you then. You are about to die. It's terrifying just thinking about it. But by some miracle, Felix survived. He fought his way to the surface and made it out alive. Unfortunately, Oriolua wasn't as lucky. His decomposing body was found floating on the river 3 days later. Felix's survival meant he could identify the killers, and that's exactly what he did. His testimony led police straight to Lekon. He and his accomplices, along with his mother and fiancé, were all arrested. When asked why he did it, his reason was simple. He was angry that the Fatinois didn't give him a raise or a loan. Wow. So because he felt entitled to more than they were willing to give, he wiped out an entire family. That's unbelievable. On February 3rd, 2025, Lekon and his 2 accomplices were sentenced to death by hanging. Justice was served finally. But it doesn't change the fact that a whole family was wiped out over something so trivial, all because someone they trusted decided they owed him more than just a salary. I'll continue to say this. The people closest to us, the ones we trust, are the biggest dangers to our lives. And that's the scariest part, you know. How do you truly know if the people you help or welcome into your home see you as their blessing or as their opportunity? Have you ever had second thoughts about hiring someone or helping someone in need? What precautions do you think are enough? Or is there really no way to know who we are letting into our homes? Sometimes, no matter the background checks, you can never know what someone is thinking. May the souls of the Fatinois rest in perfect peace, and may we never become destiny helpers to our killers. So that's it for this case, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to me. Thanks for watching. Bye.